One kiss won't kill you. Please.
Sex on campus in the 90s is very, very active.
It's definitely dangerous.
More like a wild romp.
I think it's important. I mean, you don't want to screw around these days.
I think everybody's basically going free for all.
There's not that sort of free love atmosphere that we've heard about.
When you think of college and you think one night stands.
I think the casual sex is fun and exciting.
Casual sex seems to be the prevalent thing these days.
Really, when it comes down to it, monogamous is what it's about.
I think women probably are staying virgins a lot longer than they were back in the 60s.
The awareness of maybe possibly dying, you know, as a result of having sex with somebody is definitely something that goes through everybody's mind.
That's, you know, something that is so novel to our generation, that sex kills, and that's like a very real issue.
I just wanted to start out talking a little bit about relationships and dating and sex in college. What is it like out there? What is dating like in college these days?
No one dates at all. It's just one big sex fest.
What?
Casual sex has never been, you know, my scene, and I don't want people to think that, oh yeah, everyone goes crazy, you know, you get to school and everyone's having sex left and right every night, like 12 people. Is that reality? I mean, for a lot of people, it's not.
I think the time when people are having the most amount of sex during their freshman year is when they have the least amount of friends. When they don't know people, they don't know who they can trust.
And you're in college, and you have, you know, especially in the guy's point of view, of all those hormones flowing, it's a lot more important to have, I think, quantity over quality. So that's part of it as well. Guys go more for the numbers, and then, you know, as you get older, I'd assume it would change. It has for me, to a point.
See, that doesn't make any sense.
Hormones don't make sense.
The primary thing about sex is it feels good. I mean, yeah, that's why you have sex, because you're like, whoo, I feel good now, you know?
I just think for women, it's obviously much more emotional. Things are very free today, and people get along and they go out and they date, and you know, I'm not saying that everybody's going around having sex, but it's not as important, I don't know, but I think to the men it's not as important to have a serious relationship than it is to the women.
So it sounds like sometimes there are two people coming into a relationship, a sexual relationship or a romantic relationship, with very different expectations. So what happens when you have different expectations than your partner does?
Someone gets hurt.
And someone never calls.
I'm like, well, maybe I could call him, maybe I could, you know, ask him, you know, if he could go.
Right.
but it seems so like forward and then formal and then weird and then forget it. It's
right. When you make that call, then they're like, she wants to have sex with me, and you're like, no, I want to have a dinner. I just want to
I think a lot of men are actually changing. I think there are, of course, men who are still like, I just want to have lots of sex. And then there's also men, like, I'm surprised when I hook up with somebody and they call me, they would like to want to go see me. I'm like, what? So it's kind of nice. I think men are changing. I don't think we give them enough credit sometimes.
I think that men in general on that feel that once they've gotten to a certain step, they've got it all. They feel that, or I know I have felt that when, you know, I get naked, I'm going to have sex. I mean, or even half naked, or in the, you know, in the right atmosphere, environment, or whatever. And it's not always the case. You have to proceed and take the time to be silent and look at each other and realize that you both agree with what's happening, and it's not just a jungle happening. You know, it's just not something going crazy.
You know, I'm hearing, and maybe not this word, but the sort of idea of intimacy. And we haven't spoken to that directly, but I mean, what is it with intimacy? Are people, or are you afraid of intimacy? Where does that come in?
Intimacy has to do with, like, you know, trust. And I don't think it necessarily has to even be in a relationship. You can meet someone. I think if you hit it off right, you can be intimate in a certain way. Sex is involved, but, you know, it's deeper than that.
My experience is sort of different than most college people, and I've been in a serious relationship for a while. And I think that, you know, you really have to base those types of relationships on honesty and respect, because unless you do that, it sort of doesn't progress.
I personally haven't had sex yet, so I haven't taken the moment per se. So for me, I need to know that there's going to be a certain amount of respect and intimacy involved also. I can't have it be a conquering thing. I just couldn't feel good about myself.
There's a lot of things that I would like a relationship and everything like that, but sometimes, you know, it's Friday night, I want to get off. It's up here. It's up here. I'll think about it before I have it. I'll act responsibly. I'll have sex. I'm happy. I can go on.
When it actually happens that I've met this person, I'm going to have sex with this person, as soon as I know that that's going to happen, the whole picture changes for me. And you have to go through, like, oh, what diseases do you have? These are the diseases I have. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this?
I think AIDS has affected me because I was relatively not really worried about it, and then I was tested. And it was the worst 2 weeks of my life. Yep. Because I was sitting there thinking, who do I think I am? The test could come back positive. And I think that once I did that, it totally changed my outlook on it. I'm just like, I'm sorry, condoms.
People aren't as aware or concerned as things like syphilis and gonorrhea and all the lesser, you know, STDs. AIDS is such a big thing now, and everybody's like, oh, you can die from it. But people also, they don't take into account that these other ones are still circulating around.
When I'm having sex with somebody, I'm much more concerned with STDs than with pregnancy. You know, I mean, it's a drag. Ugh, they're such a bummer. No, it's not fun at all. STDs are not fun. They're a real bummer.
A condom looks like one of those balloon animals.
Well, it's a latex sleeve.
It looks like maybe like a big sausage casing.
It's like a
rocket ship.
It's like a little life vest for your penis.
Oh, I know.
It's this long little latex rubbery thing.
It comes with a little blue pack, lubricated or non-lubricated.
It's just cute. And now, where do you keep your condoms?
Somewhere my parents wouldn't find them.
Here it's easy, because there are no moms around.
I have an industrial carton at home, in a drawer.
Under the bed.
Actually, there's some tools in the drawer.
Taped to my thigh.
So I guess you could call it like a toolbox.
There you go.
I usually keep mine in my cigarettes. Because I never go anywhere without cigarettes.
There you go.
Some pants actually have little condom pockets. I have one as a nice little one right here. You stick the condom in. And you know, it's good because you're on the dance floor, you're dancing, the girl rubs your leg, she knows you have a condom. So it's like it's a cool 90s sex thing to do, you know?
What happens with safer sex when you've been drinking?
Goes down the drain.
You do get a little like, oh, sure, well, it's okay. You know, what's one dance, or what's one drink, or one more, or, you know, he looks like such a nice guy.
I remember there was one point where I was so oblivious to the world, but I just remembered, oh, wait, this is where I asked, do you have a condom? So I think once you are like, I know that probably wasn't a good thing to admit, but once you have established that this is just a part of my repertoire, then you realize and you start knowing what you have to do.
I tend, to try and stay in control of at least my brain functions. I mean, you know, my motor skills might be to hell. I might be crawling home, but at least I know where I'm going and I have a condom on. So,
if someone is aware that you have a condom on you, then you're expecting to have sex, or, you know, and we're trying to get rid of that stigma. We're trying to say that having a condom is just being prepared. Having a condom is being aware.
There are people out there that are going to try to get you to have unsafe sex. You need to watch for that. They're going to try to say, oh, come on, you know, this is, oh, I'm negative, or they'll tell you all these lies, and you got to be ready for it.
Since the disease is so deadly, I mean, you just can't take the risk.
But age isn't the only reason to use condoms. There are a lot of STDs going around, and latex condoms can help reduce the risk for them. Things like gonorrhea, herpes, genital warts, and chlamydia. You may not be aware of it, but some of these STDs can cause permanent sterility or cancer.
And let's not forget about pregnancy. Condoms are a highly effective form of birth control. Highly effective when you use them correctly and every time you have vaginal intercourse. Even if you're using the pill, you should use latex condoms. The pill doesn't provide any protection against sexually transmitted disease.
So let's look at some condoms.
A condom is just a sheath that fits over the penis. Most are made of latex, a rubber material that's very thin and flexible. Some are made of animal membrane and often called lambskin or skins.
These lambskin condoms are a highly effective method of birth control, but they haven't been proven to provide protection from sexually transmitted disease.
So you should make sure you always use a latex condom to help prevent the spread of STDs.
I always suggest trying a variety of condoms. I mean, why not experiment? There's a lot to choose from. Some condoms are non-lubricated and others are lubricated. Some condoms have a spermicide called nonoxynol 9 in the lubricant. This is just an added measure of protection against pregnancy. A reservoir tip is important to leave room at the end for the semen when you come.
But just because condoms can be stretched out like balloons, it doesn't mean they all fit or feel the same. There are lots of choices, so find one you and your partner are comfortable with. For example, contoured condoms provide a snugger fit. Large condoms are wider and maybe more comfortable. And there are textured condoms, which are designed to enhance pleasure. They have raised spirals, ribs, and dots.
See, condoms can be fun, but whatever type of latex condom you use, make sure that you use it correctly and every time you have sex.
To use a condom correctly, put it on as soon as the penis is hard and before it's near a body opening. Squeeze the tip gently while you roll the condom down to the base of the penis to avoid trapping air inside. Adequate lubrication is important. Use only water-based lubricants. Oil-based products such as petroleum jelly, hand lotion, cold cream, or baby oil can damage the latex material. To take the condom off correctly, hold the base of the condom as you withdraw so the semen doesn't spill. Then just slide the used condom off and discard it. But don't put condoms in the toilet. Use a new condom every time you have sex.
That's it. That's the mechanical part of using a condom correctly. But there's more to it than that, really, if you're going to make condoms a part of your sexual relationship. You've got to learn to be comfortable with them.
If your partner is putting on a condom and you're a woman, to continue to be interested and attentive while they're putting it on so that it's not like, okay, now you're putting on the condom. Okay, come back.
Things shouldn't just stop when the
Yeah,
condom
so
is
that it's
put
not
on.
like this is the mechanical part, go for it, you know, yeah. You act like it's normal.
Keep everything moving while you're doing it, and if you do that, then it's a very comfortable part of having sex. You know, you can just ease along with it.
Definitely, if the partner puts it on, it makes it a lot more comfortable.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's fine.
When I've had sex without a condom, I've always really regretted it.
I've sort of had sex and then said to the guy, you know, have you ever heard of a condom? But I say it afterwards.
Unfortunately, in the heat of the passion moment, you know, all those things don't necessarily run through your mind.
I don't bring it up. I just put it on. There's not a discussion about it. It's there and it's got to be there.
No sex, no condoms, same thing.
No glove, no love. It's the way it is. It's the way it's got to be.
Here we go. We got the condom right here.
I mean, if you're about to have sex and you haven't talked about it yet, then obviously it's about time.
If you want me to please you, you've got to please me. Wear a condom.
I know what's not going to happen. I know I'm not going to have sex without a condom. And if someone asks me to have sex without a condom or tries to, you know, get me into that position, it's just not going to happen.
What are the rules that you have? What are you comfortable with before you're in the heat of the moment, before you drink, before you've got this guy just really going for you?
I believe in spontaneity when it comes to sex, so I wouldn't necessarily have a discussion prior, but maybe right before it was about to occur, I would simply state something like I'm going to go get something. I would get the condom and put it on, and keep it as simple as that.
Well, I think you just be direct and be upfront. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. Just be upfront, and if it can save your life, you know, just, you know, what's the risk? Embarrassment? Who cares?
I'm always straightforward. If I think I want to bring it up, you know, I might say, do you have condoms? You know, or if I don't want to have, you know, if I don't want to do anything, then I just say, no, look, I just don't want to. And that's it. I mean, they can take it or leave it.
It's very hard for me, so I usually take the cute and adorable approach. You have a condom? You know, a little high squeaky girl voice. And if he says no, then I become big grown-up Jen again and say, oh, sorry. But yeah.
You can always pull the, do you need to stop at the store? You know?
One time, I was in bed with this girl. I didn't have a condom, and she didn't, and she still wanted to go at it. And I was like, well, you really shouldn't trust me. And then she was like, whoa. Okay, we won't then. which worked really nicely. I kind of scared her.
Being part of the gay community, we've had to deal with this for over 10 years, so it's kind of a given that you should use them. It's usually not an issue with me. It's usually there's so much trust between both of us.
I like to see what you can do besides have intercourse as much as possible. And that way you don't have to stop at any point. And if someone says, oh, do you have a condom? It's like, well, I wasn't planning on having sex.
If you choose to have sex, then you're going to want to be able to protect yourself, and you're going to want to stay healthy. And the way to do that is to face reality, deal with it, and just work with what you've got.
If I have it, I just take it out myself and just kind of bring it into the situation. And if they don't want to use it, then, you know, we're done.
Everybody's been told the right thing to do, and everybody knows the right thing to do. But not everybody does the right thing. I mean, it doesn't happen. You just get all caught up in it with the flurry of emotion. You know, the rush of everything just happens. And in the back of your mind somewhere, a little voice is saying, you should put a condom on, you should put a condom on. And up in the forefront of your voice says, go, 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 go. So, I mean, which is going to win in that?
If a guy brings it up, then I feel, first of all, that they're attracted to me and they're thinking about it. So that's also very flattering. But it's also that they're respecting me enough that they would not endanger my health, but they also respect me enough to think that I respect my body and that I wouldn't do that, you know. And so I find it so sexy. I'm just like, yeah.